Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. This video is going to be a little bit of a run through of some recent pickups and a little bit of a discussion of, I don't know, I'll just kind of go with the idea of oddball. What do you consider to be oddball? What do I consider to be oddball? Is there such a thing as oddball? Or is it all just, various interesting offshoots of collectibles? So I don't want to get too deep in the woods. It would probably be a good 20-minute chat with some folks. Some of the biggest, best collections that are shared on YouTube have pretty strong opinions on this, but at the end of the day, it's all just kind of your fun interpretation and where you think things fall. So, John Mangini says nothing's oddball. Rick literally calls his channel Oddball Cards. So those two collections are amazing and just have different perspectives on kind of the term and is it appropriate and is it something that fits with how they view an item, and I mean, to some degree, do they consider it to be something that maybe makes it feel less, I don't know, less accepted or less mainstream? Because really pre-1957 tops and pre-1952 tops and whatever line you want to draw in the sand, things didn't have a standard. They were just all over the gosh darn place. So I'm going to show you a few things today that I think maybe are more acceptable to discuss as are they oddball, are they not? And I will say also a quick shout out to Reindeer Studios and the idea of what Scott does with the availability of cool shirts and cool items for the community. So I just got this thing, and this is not from him. Vintage, let me see if I can get it to show. There we go. Vintage Collector. Love the shirt. Super fun, super cool. Not from his online store. So, still fun, still super cool. Definitely lower quality, not as comfortable. Worried about it shrinking. If you order a shirt from him, you are going to be amazed at the quality, how comfortable it is. It's one you're going to want to wear, everywhere. Not just because it supports him, supports the hobby, supports, kind of hopefully what you're passionate about, but it is just an awful nice piece of clothing to add to your collection of, the rotation of the wardrobe. So I'm going to dive in here. I'm going to show you 6 pieces today, and we'll take a look and see what you guys think. Is it oddball? Is it different? Is it unique? Is it just cool? Is it what it is? So we'll turn it around and we'll get started. All right, folks, I'm going to start off with the big boy. Normally I kind of save it's like the dessert at the end, but for me, this is a big card, big item, big whatever. So I thought I'd include this. This is definitely a very recent pickup for me. I've been trying to kind of bump into a few new Honus Wagners without having to get into some of the caramel cards and some of those really big. Those get expensive fast in any condition. And so this is, well, probably not the lowest cost playing days. It's close. I think the National Game and Tom Barker kind of issues, those playing cards, that's probably the best value if you're looking for a playing days Honus. But a Honus Wagner from the M1012 set, I love this set. This is absolutely one of my favorite sets. So you get the extreme full image of him, but to me that's worth a massive consideration. I know some people have storage issues, whatever else, which I think is immediately when you start talking storage issues, some people go, okay, oddball. It doesn't fit in a standard storage box. So if that's your definition, then this would definitely be oddball. This is basically a magazine page. So, an insert to sporting news. So maybe that qualifies as something that is a little more oddball, because it's not, you definitely didn't open a pack or open something where it was supposed to be distributed that way. But with how few have survived, and this one has some chunks missing and some corners clipped and whatever else. Probably was in a scrapbook like a lot of them were at some point. So a lot of these have tape and glue and all the fun stuff, and they've been torn and they've got chunks missing, but For me, you come in an inch on all the corners and you have a phenomenal image of all these different players in the set. So the Honus Wagner I thought was just wonderful. Like I said, it's, I think for value end of things, it's up there. So the back of this one's actually not, given what they can be, that's considered like a decent back. I don't know, you're getting a ton of reflection, so you're probably not able to see, but when I hold that up to like the light area, I literally can see the image through the back. So if you want an idea of how thin it is, think magazine pages. If you were to hold a magazine page up to a bright light, you're probably going to be able to see through and see what's on the other side of it. And that's about how thick these are. Also, it's from 1909, so it's going to be extra kind of crispy and brittle. So the odds of it, cracking, snapping, tearing, ripping, all those possible ways of damaging the thing, probably pretty high. So super thrilled to have this thing in the collection. I definitely need to always be searching for A's and 1s when it comes to this set, because there's so few that survived in good shape. Those become extreme premiums in many cases. So I was happy to find a Honus that has a new home with me. I might just leave that back there. That's an awful nice backdrop. Next two, these are Jason Everyday Card Collector Specials. He actually just shared from this set. We were chatting on the phone and I said, my golly, that is cool. And he showed his Jimmy Fox in a recent video and I said, I would not mind seeing what else is there. And I found this and I said, I'm going to grab that thing. So for me, part of the oddball component is, was it intended to be collected in kind of that same way? I mean, these are cut off cereal boxes. So if you're going to use the word oddball, I maybe think this jumps into, like, it's not really a card, it's a cereal box. I don't know that it was even really made to be cut off, or if they just thought it was a cool advertisement and people would read the back of the box. And I'm not sure if they intended for this to become posters in kids' rooms and collected and, later sold at shows 90 years later. But for me, a couple components to this thing. I mean, Abner Doubleday stuff. Obviously, we've learned some things about the start of baseball, but he was considered the founder of baseball, essentially. I thought the image was just ridiculous. And then you get this design of the first diamond. And this was, as I say often, dozens of dollars. So you go pre-war, you go, maybe we call it oversized, maybe we call it oddball, maybe we call it just cool. These Wheaties cutouts are just phenomenal. So for me, that checked every box, and it was literally dozens of dollars. Next one was a couple more dozens of dollars, but it was not still an enormous piece in terms of cost. Kind of is for size, kind of is for balancing. So same set, same series, I believe, and what series it is, I'm not as good. I've been better at just figuring out years. I think these are both 39s. The Mel Ott, which I thought was interesting, they list him as a third baseman. Is that a thing? I thought he was mostly outfield. I don't remember there being a third base era to his career, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Study that picture. But I thought the way this one was cut, and again, I would probably never get any of these things graded. There's no real reason. It's going to come back. It's got paper loss or something going on there at the top. So it's going to be, it's real. I mean, I can take it out, feel it. That's absolutely the back of a 80-something, 90-year-old cereal box. So I don't question that it's authentic. But these write-ups are just so neat. Little images. Really cool image of him. And then a lot of them will give you some details like this. So for me, cool image of player, neat write-up, Really, the colors are quite striking too. I mean, unless you're, maybe it's because it's like Bears colors. Maybe I'm having Chicago bias, but the blue and the orange, I think, just go so neat together. So for me, fantastic. And again, it's, the first one was dozens of dollars. This one's a few more dozens, but you're still not talking enormous dough yet. Next one, I was originally going to do a video just show 2 cards and show the Honus Wagner, but I realized that's not quite the lowest cost, best value Honus, although I'd put it on the list. And I would still say that might be the best value when you're looking at one to pick up for, I mean, nothing Honus Wagner is going to be $40. So no matter what, you're going to be investing somewhere in the realm of a comma probably with a Honus Wagner item. But this one I think is the best value for this guy. So I picked that up. There was one available on eBay, so I mean, just watch them. They do run through auction houses at times, but eBay every so often I see one pop up, and you know, they can be many hundreds. I think some people put commas on the prices, which is probably a little silly unless they're somehow pristine. There was one that went a bit ago that I was kind of carding it. I was like, do I want to do another blanket? Because you do get into like, what's oddball? Like, I mean, these are tougher. So this is an 8x10 holder. I thought it looked cool on an 8x10 holder because I could put it at an angle. So a lot of times you'll see these things, you know, in a holder kind of flush, and then you have the name sideways, you have the image a little sideways, and it's not really a win. I honestly haven't even paid attention when they slab them. Maybe they slab them at an angle like this. But for me, presentation-wise, I'm like, let's go ahead and grab an 8x10 and get that thing at an angle and make it look super cool. So these blanket issues, the only one that's really huge in this set, I think, that you won't find a great deal on is Joe Jackson. There is a Ray Chapman, there is the Ty Cobb, obviously there's Walter Johnson, so there's some good ones in the set. But the Ty Cobb, you know, I've seen them run through for a couple $100, few $100. I think I got a very fair deal. This one's in pretty respectable shape. What surprises me with these blankets is the actual image. And I've been trying to do this more on my videos just to get a little more like detail for folks, and honestly it helps me with my old eyes. But I mean, look at the detail on that. Like, you've got, you know, D on the hat. You've actually got its grip like perfectly represented. I mean, down to shoes. Got the Detroit pennant, AL. Got a glove. Got baseball over there. Home plates, couple bats. So for me, I thought there was too many cool factors for that, and trying to collect some Ty Cobbs, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's worth adding. Message the seller. We kind of came to an agreement on what was fair. I will encourage folks to, if you're on eBay, reach out. I know there's a lot of dealers on there trying to snag things, and I see the same thing on Facebook. It's kind of crazy. Someone will say, you know, Honus Wagner, $1,000 or best offer, and you see a dealer jump in like 400. Come on. Like, yeah, is that insulting? Was 1,000 really that out of line? Like, it's kind of crazy. And I'm sure they get the same thing on eBay. You know, you list something for $300 and someone shoots you an offer like 110. Like, come on, man. You know, if it's worth 120, then yeah, go 110. But if their starting asking price is fair, I'll shoot messages to folks and be like, can you get here? I'd really like to get closer to that. And if they can't quite get there, at least they'll come back and say, you know, I appreciate that. I say, I'm a Cobb collector. It's definitely PC. It's one I've kind of been watching for a while and debating, and this is a nice copy, and I think your asking price is fair. Just, you know, if I can do a little better, I'd be real happy. And you know, I think that goes maybe a little longer with the seller than just shooting a price and they don't know who you are, what you're doing. So a lot of times I actually mention a little bit about, you know, being on YouTube and the community and going to shows, and you have actually a nice back and forth sometimes. So make it a personal transaction. It goes a long way. All right, last two I'm going to share, and I might do a video just on these two together because it's a complete set, which is neat. So 1906 V.O. Hammond Pub Co. Postcards. I had this one. Not sure if that's going to be my best path. That has to go a little further back to really make that make sense. I thought super cool. So I've had this one for a bit. And I will say on both of these, I did not do great. I did very fair on pricing and everything else. So this thing's been in the collection for a little bit. Not crazy expensive. Being from 1906, and you can read the names, but you got Charles Comiskey on there. If you go across and look at all the different names, you start to realize, so there's Comiskey, Doc White. He's, I've talked about him before. He's not Hall of Fame, but he should be, Hall of Very Good, and he's definitely lesser known. He's the, maybe Mark Burley of the era. I believe you got George Davis on this one. I'll double check the names. Ed Walsh. So you get some pretty big boppers when you get into these like old team sets. So be it a, Fatima, or in this case, a little bit different issue. I think super great value, because getting an Ed Walsh card with him alone would be more than that postcard. So the postcard, you got a Comiskey, which a Comiskey alone would be more than that postcard. So you kind of get the combo of a whole bunch of different folks. Most of these, as you find them, there's some that are high grade. I don't care about that at all. I actually love seeing that it was sent. So it's got postage on it, and it's got names written, and it's a little abused and whatever else, but it's from 1906. I'm good at that. Next one is very similar kind of feel and idea. Same set. All you get's the Chicago teams. So you get the White Sox and the Cubs. And this one has writing on the front and on the back. Also sent. It's cool to see the stamp with October 21st, 6:30 p.m. When you get in here, big one on this one is, for me, 1906 Mordecai Brown. That's really one of his earliest issues. Then you look at the rest of the players, a lot of the back row, not necessarily any huge hitters besides him. Steinfeld is decent. There's Frank Chance and Johnny Evers. Evers is like leaning on Chance. I think Chance was okay with both Evers and Tinker. They just didn't like each other. So Tinker is the very end right there. So one of the things I do like about these is they label the players. So you're not kind of left trying to identify somebody that you think could be in the picture. They just tell you who they are. So I'll slide that one back there. But those postcards, I feel like for me, of course they're oversized. Were they made to be collectibles? Technically no, they're made to be postcards. But I don't really necessarily think of those as oddball. I don't really think of the M101s as oddball. I think, they did what they're supposed to do. Cutting out a cereal box, is that oddball? Maybe. But they were done in so many series, and I'm sure once they got through a few of those, they decided, yeah, this is working. They definitely put a lot of time and thought into that. It wasn't, it's not like you're keeping something that was made to be a little gadget toy thrown away. It was something that they really put some time and effort and some real thought into how they were going to present that. The little blankets, now you're really getting outside. It's not even made of cardboard anymore. So is non-cardboard items oddball? I don't know. I don't worry too much about the terminology of it all. I don't get too bent out of shape of what anything's called. Are they all unique? Are they different? Are they super cool? Are they perfect for me? Absolutely. So that's where I go. So some different angles there. You end up with a blanket, some cereal, some postcards, and a magazine page of sorts. But a whole lot of pre-war, whole lot of pushing. A couple things there for under triple figures, and probably one of them has a comma in the price, but most of these are pretty decent value vintage items, and definitely happy to have them all in my collection. So catch you guys on the next video. Take care.